Now I hear an echo.
That's bananas. That's some banana shizzy. Okay.
Now I only see half of you for some reason, Joy.
Yeah,
Now
sorry.
there you
I
are.
had my face all up in the camera, like, what the fuck? All right. So we are live. I am going to put this on the Twitter. And I shall tag you, Indy, as you go by.
If you could tag IND Left News, I think you've been tagging IND Left GG. It's the same thing. I mean, I have two different Twitter accounts. One is for the Discord. One is for the news site.
Okay, should I just tag both?
If you want, that's even better.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, I see a few people joining. Thank you, people.
Hi, everybody.
This is a talking bird has joined us. He is incognito because he is very high profile.
I'm not really a talking bird. I'm actually a talking dude.
Well, like, yeah, both, I guess. All right, let me put this on the Twitter and the Facebook. Okay. Live.
Okay, I've got chat up live on Facebook, on YouTube. Are we live on Facebook and other platforms, or just YouTube?
No, that's what I want to talk to you about afterwards, because right now I'm only streaming to YouTube.
Okay.
This is all like new shit for me since I'm by myself now. I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of learning all this.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I'm happy to help.
Thank you, sir. So, for those of you just joining, this man behind the meme here, we are going to call him Indy. He is a badass who created this like, I don't know what else to call it besides like a one-stop shop for independent media, leftist independent media. It's a place that you can go to for like a bunch of shows, not just mine or someone else's, but it's actually a place that you can go to Discord and see our shows, or you can go to Twitter. They're always putting clips, full episodes. He spends so much time, even, pretty much, well, literally every day, getting current content out. He has been incredibly kind and supportive to me. I know Ron Placone is also a big fan. When we do shows together, we always give shout outs. So definitely follow them if you aren't already. They're doing something that honestly nobody else is, and I don't know that anybody else has ever tried to. So thank you so much for joining us, Indy.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And like Joy and I have known each other, so everybody knows. For a little while, we've been connecting. I've been a fan of hers on Facebook, or actually on Twitter, for quite a while, since I think even maybe the first Bernie run. And I've always followed her and commented or liked. And then as I started to embark in this project, we've connected over the last few months. And I saw her, of course, the Force to Vote town hall, and sharing that story was so meaningful to us, to me, and to everyone. And seeing you go through what you're going through, and doing all I can to support the telethon that Mike and I don't remember who it was, somebody else had held with
Ron and Marianne.
It was Ron, right? It was Ron, exactly. Ron and Mike. I remember watching that live, and again, just seeing what you're doing, and as honestly, as a disabled, as a blind person, embarking on what you're doing, I'm just so inspired by it, and I want to support it, and I want to be there for you, as well as all the other people on the left that are taking this on with another job, with no job at all, that are taking on the corporate machine, that are taking on the algorithm that is suppressing any independent content out there. Um, and the reason why I built this, and again, I really appreciate you saying what you said. And originally, how it started was I wanted a central place for myself to find all of the independent content that I was looking at on a daily basis, on podcasts, on videos, on Twitter, and I really didn't see any kind of environment like that anywhere on the web. So, I found a website that could aggregate some content, and I could put some links in there to say, hey, if this person tweets, or if this person puts up a new video, or this person puts a new podcast, or this person writes an article from this website, include that in the daily update. And at that point, it was only once a day.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away. Like, I just joined Discord like a week or so ago because you said I had my own page, and I'm like, what? So I go to Discord and I'm like, holy shit, you've got all my tweets, you've got all my shows, you've got like all this stuff in there. And like, I just didn't even know that all that was in there. So that's kind of voyeuristic. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a little creepy. No, it was so impressive because it's not just me. You do that for so many content creators. Like, the list, I haven't even heard of some of these people, to be quite honest. So you do that service as well. You actually help bring attention to some newer channels who may not have a lot of followers.
Yes, well, 100%. I mean, one of the things that, especially over the last few months, that I've really looked at is trying to find some of the up and coming smaller channels, because they're not getting amplified at all. And it's even harder for them to get even to monetization for your 1,000 subscribers and for your 4,000 watch hours. I'm going through that myself. I started my own channel, my own show, just to experience the same thing that everybody else is, and to do it from my own perspective and be able to bring that firsthand knowledge while I'm consulting, advising, and amplifying everybody else's stuff. And again, it started as just a website, and I started a Twitter account. And then after a few months, I started to I was like, let me set up a Facebook page. I had an old Facebook page. Let me connect that and change the name of it. And then about a month later, I said, how about Instagram? Maybe we should do Instagram. And it started to just kind of snowball. And I wanted to be on all these different platforms. And then I discovered Discord, like you said. So Discord, a lot of what happens in Discord is completely automated, done by these bots. And they're little programs that you can tell to look at whenever Savage Joy posts a video to this channel, to her channel, post a link to that in the Savage Joy channel on the Discord. And I just saw that type of automation possible. And I said, why not do that for everybody? Somebody had originally asked me to set up a channel for Kyle Kalinske in Richard Medhurst's Discord. I'm like, that's never going to happen. I'll do it in my Discord for you. And then like the light bulb went off. Why not do this for everybody? Since I'm already doing a website like that, right?
Yeah, that's really awesome. Especially, I've been doing this shit for over 4 years, but, I've been doing it with organizations the whole time. And now, like 2 weeks ago, I went off on my own, which is very daunting, especially, not being able to see and shit. So doing this and I have over 21,000 followers on Twitter, but I have like 600 subscribers here, because you have to start all over. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, I have followers on social media and stuff, but I have to start over. I've done over 400 shows with over 300 guests. But now, these past 2 weeks or so, now I'm doing these shows. So it's like starting over completely. So these people with new shows having this ability to go through you and be promoted through what you're doing. I can't even fathom how how different that is for them.
Well, I try to find people who I like also. Honestly, I gravitate to the shows that I like and I want to watch personally. I'm not an arbiter or a judge or anything. I'm just a fan, just like everybody else. And if I'm actually starting to look at removing the word left from a lot of what I'm doing, because it's more about independent than left or right. And I think a lot of the conversation that I've been having with people lately is that left right is a way of dividing, and whereas independent is a way of uniting. And I've always been into, first I started as Progressive News Daily, and I realized that the word progressive was meaningless, and I evolved. And about a year ago today, I changed from Progressive News Daily into Independent Left News. And now it's starting to look at the point, I'm starting to step back and say, is it really left at this point? And we certainly do represent people on the left, but does the word left potentially turn off people that might be open to some of our message because they've been conditioned that left is bad or negative or whatever? And some people even consider some of the people who are included not necessarily left, which then gets them to maybe potentially dismiss the validity of the entire thing because it's being quote unquote misrepresented. And it's a lot, that's a lot to consider. And I do think a lot about this, and I do dedicate a lot of time and energy and effort to making sure that people's brands and their reputations and their channels are represented properly, because they put a lot of time and themselves into it. And I want to, again, help them, amplify them, and help them increase their audience, including you.
Absolutely, totally
Yeah.
valid points. What is your, I don't, lack of a better term, litmus test, criteria, to consider them independent news?
Well, the first thing is not corporate funded. Um, and I don't dig too deep into their funding to figure out are they necessarily corporate funded or not. But you can tell from the content pretty quickly if people are genuine, if they are coming from an anti-capitalist, anti-corporatist type of perspective, if they're looking uh, to advocate for policies that benefit the masses and that support equality among all, and housing equality, equality for opportunity. You get a very quick sense for who these people are. And I try to, again, when we expose or we figure out that they're not what we thought they were, I tend to move their content either down or out of my newsletter. And I've done that with several different people. I mean, the newsletter has really evolved because it started as TYT and Kyle Kalinske and Tim Black and a lot of people that aren't really represented in the newsletter anymore, only because that's not the content that I'm watching. That's not the content that the people who I talk to, hang out with, and I think are saying the right things right now and are challenging the right people and are asking the right questions. And again, that's just from my perspective.
Absolutely. I watched people's definition of independent
Oh, you're cutting out.
change. What's that?
I was losing you on internet there for a second. You were breaking up.
I've watched people's definition of independent media change throughout the years. When I first started over 4 years ago, TYT was independent media, which they aren't, in any respect. But now you have people, like, to me, like, when you don't do live episodes because you pay a producer, an editor, a sound guy, and you like have all these people who make a living by you paying them to make your shit look like high tech and professional, and you're getting over $35,000 a month on Patreon, you are not independent media. Period. You're not. So, like, I guess, I differ from some people maybe, but to me, it's that I take a lot of pride in that label. Like, I'm literally sitting in my spare bedroom in front of a fucking bureau. Like, I get nothing for doing this shit. Like, this is independent media, and there are so many of us who fit this category, and that's what I think of, this organic live stream, just something not mass produced.
And I totally agree with you. And those channels, and there are a ton of people that I include like that, who I found out of nowhere, because I was friends with them in a Discord, and they decided to start a channel. And there are so many people who I've connected with who started their own platform because they were inspired by talking with people. They said, you know what, let me just start doing that. I said, let me include their stuff and give them more of a central home for people to find them, and a broader audience. And for example, Bothered Boy, I'll drop really quickly. He used to be called What's Bothering Me, and he just started sitting in front of a camera just like you do in his bedroom, talking about 7 minutes a day. Here's what's bothering me today, and he's always had good topics and always fun to listen to. And I told him, look, if you ever sign up for Patreon, I'll be your first patron. Just tell me when you're there. Same thing about there's another streamer guy out there named Todd Hunt. He's got a channel called Be the Change. I stumbled on a couple of his videos, I think because of one of the crawler bots in my in the Discord, where if you tweet or you do a video about certain keywords, about imperialism, about Assange, about several different topics, it's automatically going to grab that video and post it into the live stream channel in the Discord. I get alerted to when anything new is posted to that channel on my wrist, on my phone, everywhere, because I want to know who goes live. And I saw, hey, that they're talking about this topic. Well, let me check them out and see what they're all about. And I've actually gone live on his show with him. I've actually had him do a live stream of his own where he did a reading and a book review on the Indie Left News channel on YouTube. And I love finding new up and coming people like that and supporting them and helping them grow and teaching them about the tools that I've learned about and introducing them to new people and helping them get guests on their shows or become a guest on a show, because I'm connected to a lot of people through the newsletter and through the Discord. It's been a fantastic experience, and it's all about giving back. This is never about me, and that's one of the most wonderful things about this is I just really do enjoy dedicating my time to helping everybody else.
So do you watch each episode that you put out?
Oh God, I can't possibly. No.
I was gonna say.
No, I do watch quite a bit. One of my secrets is that I watch things on 1.5 times speed, and sometimes you sound like a chipmunk, for example, when I watch. And that's one of the ways I get caught up. Oh, you just muted yourself.
I did.
Now I got you back. But yeah, I watch everything at 1.5 times speed. It was either you muted or you had some interference from the internet. But yeah, I watch everything at 1.5 or 1.25 times speed, or I listen to the podcast faster. And I go by a lot of titles. I go by sometimes how many views or how many likes. Sometimes I'll even pick a video that only has 3 or 4 or 10 or 25 views. It's just about the topic and what I think that they're going to represent, and should their content be included. There's a ton of stuff being put out there by so many people, and it's hard to kind of sift through it all. And that's one of the things that I do is every 12 hours, the website refreshes with all the new content from the past 12 hours. And then I go in and I kind of look at all of that and rearrange it so that the content that I think people will want to see most and was most important to that news cycle ends up at the top of the news portion and at the top of the video slider. And that's what ends up becoming featured in the image content that we create, in the video content that we create, in the tweets that we put out, in the screenshots and screen caps that we do on Instagram. And then, yeah, it just adds into a big collective. And I've got a couple of team members, volunteers who see what I'm doing and they've said, wow, this is really cool. How can I help? And where I've had them help so far is posting on behalf of Indie Left to Facebook page, to Twitter, to Instagram, because I can't possibly keep up with all of that either. This is not just about me, and it's not just my project. There are so many people that come together to help make this work.
It's so incredible. You are doing such a service to our movement. Like, seriously, people don't have time or energy or put an effort to go and subscribe to all these, you know, different channels and stuff. And honestly, sometimes they may get an update from you and check out someone new they never heard of, things like that. Like, this is good exposure. This is good for discourse. This is just a really excellent way for us to meet new comrades and to bond with other independent media, which is something I thankfully have done for over 4 years. I've become very close friends with certain people in independent media, and then certain people I was, and then I realized they suck now. So now I'm not anymore. Egos get a little, change, people will say.
What I've seen as and it does, but there are so many up and coming streamers right now. Look at what's happening with your channel, with the Fred Hampton Leftists, even with KRTD Media, and Ride the Fence is one of these up and coming channels that I really enjoy watching quite a bit. You've got Real Progress, and Real Progressives have been around and they've been consistent, but they just produced a new show. And they run independent. And they have a whole team of volunteers. I know you've got a history and experience with them. Gray Zone is doing amazing work. Richard Medhurst on the anti-imperial front, and he started fully independent. And look what's happened with him. His talent got recognized by RT and by Press TV, and now he's representing their networks, which is terrific. And so happy for him and proud of him. And he's still doing his streams as well. And it doesn't seem like it's changed him or changed his content much, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I've seen.
Yeah, no, I haven't really watched him, to be quite honest. As of late, I'm going to be 100% real. I really haven't watched much of anyone. I've just been I always say I'm going to do more shows, shorter time. I can't do it. I'm a talker because I digress all the time. It'll be like 10-minute show. Oh, I mean an hour show. Yeah, same thing. Like I can't do it. I can't. I that's a gift I want to learn. Because I think that people don't have the attention span to watch an hour shows. I don't. I'm much more like
what they do is they want to watch about a 10-minute clip, about a 7 to 10-minute clip. So you do your streams, right? You're muted again. I'm watching you talk, but I can't hear you.
No, I wasn't talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you do your streams, and then we're gonna help you by editing and cutting that up into segments that are more bite-sized, that people will have more time to consume, and that will bring them in to want to actually watch the live streams full time, because it's like, oh, I like that 10 minutes, and that draws them in. And that's what I've seen a lot of the successful channels start doing, is starting with the clips and then bringing people into the live streams. That's honestly probably, I think, how TYT and Jimmy even do it. Looking at some of the larger channels. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea. That's something I'm going to try and train myself to do. It's on my to-do list. I've never video edited before, and, my blind accessibility equipment isn't always compatible with this shit, but, I'm down to learn these things.
Well, again, Indie Left has got resources and teams of people that are editing content for us and for other channels as well. And we're certainly trying to pool as many resources as possible so that as many editors and as many segment producers and as many people who have expertise with OBS and Streamlabs and StreamYard and monetization and marketing can all pool together their resources and knowledge and help everybody simultaneously. And not only, again, if the stuff isn't accessible to the blind, we certainly will hopefully have the resources able to do it for you and help you with that. That's one of the things that we're looking to grow and expand to with Indie Left, as well as having guest people do streams the way that Todd did, and for Be the Change recently. We've talked to other streamers about doing that. If you ever want to go live and co-stream onto the Indie Left channel, you're certainly free and welcome to do that as well. We were talking to Bess from Millennial Splaining. I don't know if you've spoken with her yet.
I've been on her show, yeah.
She's terrific. So we're talking about having her show when it airs and premieres, because she does not go live, but we could still upload it and make it a premiere on Indie Left. Wow, that sounds like a cool idea. And I really want to open this platform up to everybody, even the Substack that I started. And that's something I didn't even really get to talking about yet, which is because Indie Left and because the Discord are such a fire hose. And by the way, anyone who wants to get to the Discord can go to independentleft.gg. That's an open URL. It's a public URL. Anybody can join for free. Turn off the alerts when you get there. They'll make you crazy because there are a lot of things that are happening there. But about 5 months ago, I decided to jump into the Substack game when I saw everybody else was. And I signed up for one, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it other than putting the updates up. And one of the things that I thought was cool about Substack was that I can actually embed a copy of the video so people can actually watch the video on YouTube right on the Substack page. So I saw a lot of value to that. The other thing that you can do on Substack is publish a tweet and just copy and paste the link to a tweet, and it actually frames in the tweet itself, which I also thought was a really cool feature. So I figured let's bring the top 5 lists to life for articles and video and kind of take them to the next level. And instead of just putting links, let them actually watch them on a web page. Started doing that for a couple of months,
really
and then I thought even more, an even better idea was to put the videos up top and the articles down below, because on the news website, the articles are up top and the videos are kind of buried a little bit further down on the site, which has always bothered me. But I use a framework. I use a third-party company for that it's a challenge to look to move anywhere else. And at some point, I'm going to hire a developer and build out a WordPress site and build out something similar to, honestly, what Lee Camp and Lee and Eleanor Goldfield built out with Rad Indie Media. And that's also a really cool independent site. I give them credit. Say hi to Lee and Eleanor if they're listening. It's important to centralize and amplify independent news. And that's all I've set out to do and what I'm going to continue to do.
It's pretty neat to see how far independent media has come. Because we especially learned in 2015 throughout, we are the media. We learned that. Like, we all had a rude awakening in that free education we never thought we wanted, because we learned that, like, MSM, is just garbage. New York Post, WAPO, garbage. All of these places we may have looked at before for news, we realize are just nothing but trash. So then we took it in our own hands and said, you know what, fuck it. We're just going to be the news. We're going to do our own research. And there's such a value to that. And there's so much pride, that to be had for, being a part of the movement that actually helps get real news out there and real commentary that's unbought.
Yeah, you either have to be for exposing corruption and against imperialism, or you're a mouthpiece for it and you're essentially PR for defense contractors. Otherwise you're reporting on fluff. But any type of real investigative journalism has been suppressed. Part of the problem is that the consolidation of the media entities within these big 20 mega corporations that only hire to a certain profile, that will only allow the narrative to be discussed within certain parameters that they set, and anyone who goes outside of those parameters is deemed an other, is deemed an extremist, is deemed weird, or however they want to dismiss or smear. And it even hits, I mean, I was a TYT fan right up until 2020. I mean, I really still bought in, and I was following all the other indie channels, but I still was a TYT fan, and I thought that they were still. I was blind. I was missing it. I was trying not to see it, and now I see that. They were doing some good work, but they were also willfully ignoring really important stories. And the question is why? And no one's ever really answered that question, because they don't really answer the tough questions when it comes to that. They just continue to move forward with the narrative that they want to carry, with the candidates that they want to support. There were plenty of other independent candidates that they chose also not to support, and that was really disappointing at times. There were third-party runs that they chose to ignore because it didn't serve their ultimate goal. And that also was a concern.
The quarterback backing, the millionaire backing, stuff like that as well. It's, for me, it's a lot of things. I never watched them to be quite I always found them to be a pompous waffle. I couldn't get it. And I mean, be such a freaking idiot. So I'm glad I never went down that rabbit hole. I do think that in some ways we've shown a lot of us podcasters what not to do. I think that is been a lesson for a lot of people that have really opened their eyes to. No, I thought they were the most progressive thing out there, and now, holy shit!
Yeah.
Now I compare it to X, Y, and Z, and oh my god, they're total shit libs.
Well, they found a lane in between. They became MSNBC for the under 50 generation, essentially. They are shepherding a younger generation now into the Democratic Party, that they have lied to them that they can take over when the corporate interests will never allow them to, and they will play a role. And they're going to act like they're the upstarts, and they're going to define the parameters of how far left anybody can ever go, and the discussion of what anybody else can have. And that's a concern, and that is one of the reasons why everybody on the independent side is being attacked while they're asking questions that make them uncomfortable. My opinion absolutely is that Nancy Pelosi should be made to be uncomfortable on a daily basis. And if she's not, then the people that we worked hard on a daily basis to get to send there, that promised us that that's exactly what they would do, are now not doing. And if we're not screaming at them for not doing that, what are we doing? Why did we work so hard to get them there in the first place? And why TYT and all these other people are not screaming that on a daily basis? And yes, they're not the only ones, but they're the only ones that looked us in the eye and said that they were going to fight on our behalf. All the other ones, we knew they were going to be corporate sellout suck-ups anyway. But these people were supposed to represent us. I'm done kind of talking about them. I've resigned myself to the fact that they are not going to ever do the thing that they promised us they would do. They don't have the courage to be assaulted in the corporate media. They are already being attacked on Fox News on a daily basis. They don't want to also be attacked on MSNBC and CNN. So they've decided to play ball and at least play nicely enough that only once in a while they'll play Nancy's villain. But for the most part, they're going to live a peaceful life. Because if they were the upstarts, they would constantly be challenged in the corporate media and they would be demonized on a daily basis. And it's not happening.
Absolutely. Is there ever a channel that may reach out to you and says, hey, can we, join? And you're just like, no. Like, you don't have to give names. Do you have any deal breakers?
I've had some people that have asked to join where what I say is that let me watch your content for a little while and see what I think and see if it fits in with the content and with the messaging and with the platform that we're trying to build here. And if it would play nice with the other content. Once in a while, I do bring in people and I find that they're a little different in messaging. And I've had people call me out, and this isn't, like I said, this isn't just about me or my opinion. I listen to what the fans say also. I listen to what people are saying on Twitter. I have conversations with people one-on-one in Discord. And for example, like I used to include Reason Magazine in my update. And then I learned a little bit more about them, and I learned they were more to the libertarian side, that they had a massive grant to fund their operation. And they're not real. While we do align on marijuana reform and on a couple of different values, election integrity, for example, it really didn't represent the type of content that I wanted to put out there on a regular basis, that I wanted to automate and turn on the flow of, yes, everything Reason is doing is good. Like the way that I turn on everything that I think the Gray Zone is doing for the most part is good. Everything, I'll amplify anything that Matt Taibbi or that Glenn Greenwald or Katie Halper or a lot of these channels, I'll just turn it on and trust that whatever they're putting on is going to be, what the fans of their content want and what the consumers of indie left want and what, and again, I've trusted them because they've built up credibility over time. So as people look to be included, I will usually add them as a channel in the Discord early on because it's easier to do. But when it comes to the newsletter and then moving things up to the top 5, that's when I get a little bit more scrutinous. And it's kind of funny. I'm actually talking with Robert Durden right now about a project. He's been talking about doing power rankings on a daily basis or when he's doing shows. And I thought to somehow tie that into who's being featured in the top 5 more regularly on Indie Left or on Leftists Today, and see if we can connect the two platforms together. And he seemed to like the idea, so we're going to be working on something together for that.
Interesting. I'm familiar with that.
That's another pretty new channel, Political Fight Club.
Oh, okay.
He's actually gone on recently with the Fred Hampton Leftists, with RJ and with Jay Bifont.
Oh, okay.
He is actually recording, I think, with Millennial Splaining today, and I think he mentioned that he's going on Jackson Hinkle's stream in the upcoming future. So yeah, he's been kind of evaluating. He's a doctor. So he's got a doctor's license, and he also has been kind of commenting and critiquing and reacting to leftist content, talking about different issues, and then shouting people out and kind of doing what I'm doing in a way. But he's doing it again, like kind of sitting in his bedroom in front of an iPhone, or in his basement and doing it independently, like you're doing with completely user funded.
That's so freaking awesome. I just think that's so rad that, like, before, or people who don't do shows don't understand just how much work goes into it. and how much research goes into it and how much time goes into it and everything like that. And to see people who have their own shit going on, be it full-time jobs, be it families, be it disabilities, whatever, still putting in that time and that effort to bring the content that they believe in, it's badass, and I love seeing it. It's so cool.
Yeah, and look, the generation before us has certainly inspired us that this is possible. So while we may not necessarily like their content today as much, I still give a lot of credit, at least to the early on inspirations of Kyle Kalinske and of some of the older channels. Even though again, I don't necessarily agree with what they're doing today. I'm not necessarily as much of a viewer of their content. I do include their stuff in the Discord. I have a whole section that I call the Squad Apologists, because I don't want to exclude the fans of those channels potentially, and I want to open them up to seeing all the other potential channels that are out there that never get amplified, that never get a sniff on the TYT network and on the Mike, Mike Figueredo. Mike's always done a good job of kind of reaching down a little bit. But there are some of the other larger channels that really have not done that in quite a while. And so I'm going to include them so that if their audience happens to stumble into our Discord, hey, your stuff is there too, the stuff that you like to see, but look at all this other stuff that you've never seen. Take a look at Afeni, take a look at Unapologetic, take a look at so many inspirational people that are out there and doing great work. Again, that are working full-time jobs. All these Fred Hampton leftists, Jackie and Killjoy Meg, they come home, they turn on the camera after they've already done their research, and they talk about what's going on in their lives and what they're experiencing as workers, as sisters, as brothers, as people that are experiencing what's going on in all different states around the country, which is also what I think is really cool, that you're getting these perspectives from everywhere around the country, and we're not hyper localized anymore. We're not just looking at what's happening in our immediate community. We're now looking at what's happening in Kansas City and what's happening in Chicago and what's happening in Denver and what's happening in Los Angeles and in Arizona. And everybody's going through different stuff when it comes to laws and lockdowns. And it's just really interesting to hear everybody's perspective. And it's important to give everybody that voice. And I think that the YouTube algorithm is trying to suppress a lot of that, which is why I'm excited to see the emergence of some of these new platforms like Rockfin, like Odyssey, to a lesser extent like Rumble. But look, Rumble's a new platform, although it's funded by Peter Thiel, it's billionaire funded. It's not really grassroots. I mean, really nobody has tried to put together a grassroots independent media, video site that has taken off yet. And I'd love to see that. I would love to see YouTube take it down, because these guys, this platform that we're talking on right now, they steal money from their content creators on a daily basis to the tune of who knows how much money. Okay. Every time they run an ad on one of your videos, every time they collect a super chat from somebody who they decided to then, after the fact, demonetize, they keep that money and never return the super chat. It's criminal. It's unbelievable.
Yep. I have 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and I have super chats in there. I'm not going to see it. It's there. And it's so unfair, because I know my viewers do not have money to just be like, here, take this. No, if they're going to donate money to a show, it should go to that show, not to YouTube. Also, YouTube, any of us who do a show, we all know, I can't even say the word EPSTEIN. All of a sudden, boom, right. I'm dropped. There's all different kinds of things that, you know, you're just automatically suppressed. That's why you have to really be careful what you even title your videos as well. It's absolutely bananas. And we talked about it before the show, but just so the viewers know, today I was approved by Rockfin, so I will be streaming on there as well. I was just approved today. So what's that?
Yay! I'm a big fan of Rockfin.
Yes,
I'm actually
I'm
a token holder, believe it or not. I figured out how to buy Ray tokens. I actually went through the journey of learning how to get crypto, get Ethereum, and buy Ray tokens on a DeFi exchange because I am a believer in that platform 100%.
Yeah. For Rays, and I'm like so.
Yeah, Super Rays. I can't wait for the Super Rays. I know Pasta named it Super Rays.
Oh, it's not.
You know, no, they don't call it that. No, they just call it tips or donations or, but no, Pasta was the one that started calling it Super Rays.
I always call it,
you know, as opposed to super chats, because that's what they call it on YouTube. So he used to call them Super Rays because initially I think they only used to pay in Ray tokens. Now I think you can contribute in dollars and they'll pay in dollars to the creators. Yeah. But until recently they were only paying out in Ray tokens.
And I haven't seen anything like 4,000 hours a month, or 1,000 subscribers, or I haven't seen any kind of stipulations as far as like 4,000 hours a month of viewing time for someone like me, who is a one-person show, who does maybe 3 episodes an hour. That is not going to happen. Like, they're doing it so that this super chat money is literally just sitting there in their account.
It's at least political content. It's going to be close to impossible to get it done. Now, I've seen gaming channels, for whatever reason, somebody who sits and plays a game, they get all kinds of views. It's unbelievable.
Oh.
It's unreal. I don't get it. I'm a boomer in that way, I guess.
I'd rather just and there's like people watching live. Like I don't see the enjoyment of that, but it's very weird. But I guess there is something for it because a lot of people are doing it.
There are a lot of people doing it. You know, Twitch has taken off as a platform. I don't know if you have a Twitch account already set up, but that's something that it costs you nothing as a platform potentially, you know, to put yourself out there and to throw the stream up on every platform you possibly can. And luckily our StreamYard has the capability of plugging into all of those different platforms so that from this one place, you can hit a button and your stream will go out to all those different places. Then optimizing the titles for every single one and putting in descriptions for everyone and the right tags, it becomes a job in itself. And I'm actually looking for a distribution platforms kind of like for video so that I can write up one title and one description like we do on Streamlabs, okay, like on StreamYard, and put it out there to all the different platforms. I guess that's the way to do it. And then there's even like smaller platforms like Daily Motion is a smaller video platform that somebody told me about. I don't know how many people are using that anymore. Vimeo is yet another platform that I know a lot of people are putting video up to. And then, of course, there are the major social media platforms. You have Instagram TV, you have Facebook Watch. So when you stream, you can stream live to Facebook, and it will go out to the different Facebook groups that you're a member of, etc. There's so many different places and platforms. Twitter's got their now live streaming thing, and we want to make sure that you're on as many platforms as possible, especially when you're talking about content that tends to go more toward the edge or question the corporate narrative. because people do get content strikes, and you want to make sure that you're insulated against that. That any one platform is not so dominant that they could shut down your revenue stream. We're looking to have you folks diversify and then set up an independent revenue site like Buy Me a Coffee or Ko-fi.com, so that the super chats don't even have to go through YouTube at all. But there's a little notification that can come up on screen when you get a donation. But that way, much more, if not all of the money, then goes to you that the people are giving. I'm much more a believer in that. I don't personally very often do super chats. I tend to look for their Cash App, their PayPal, their not even PayPal, because even PayPal takes 50 cents plus a percentage for every donation. So that's one of the things that I think that some of the fans don't realize is just how much money it costs these streamers even to have a platform for people to donate to you in a lot of cases. So I have taken it upon myself to learn about the different platforms that are out there and how much they're charging to the streamers in order to have that service. And then I'll look for the best ones for me are Cash App and Ko-fi or Buy Me a Coffee, because those will go directly to your bank account and they don't take a fee at all. PayPal will take a fee. YouTube takes a fee. Patreon takes a fee. Rockfin takes a fee. I don't know if Odyssey does, but I know Odyssey's always wanting you to put tokens into kind of the platform. It's almost like filling a jukebox or filling an arcade machine. I'm now dating myself even more.
Odyssey actually commented on my Twitter that they take 5%.
That's a lot more reasonable than the 30% that YouTube is taking, or I believe Rockfin is taking 28%. And Rockfin is a lot more selective about who they're allowing on the platform. I've noticed they only want people.
Gonna get approved. So I'm glad that they at least approved me. That's good.
I'm excited that they did too. I gave Martin, who is the CEO and founder of Rockfin, I've had an email exchange with him a couple times. I think I might have even had a phone call with him, and I sent some suggestions and names to his developer team about who he might want to look at that still should have a channel. The one that I can't believe doesn't have a channel yet at this point on their platform is Justin Jackson. How he doesn't have a channel is just beyond me. But
he hasn't shows for months.
I know.
I think that's part of the problem. But I did talk to him, and he's he's feeling poopy, just like everyone else. But I miss him so much. I want him back on the show.
Oh, he's fantastic. I got to work with him. I got to work with him just a little bit for the U.S. Solution Summit back in May, and I've seen him come on and do the streams, and the way that he puts himself out there, and he's really risking his career, because if the owners really found out what he was doing and the stuff that he was saying, they probably would bench him for life.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I just love how he gets it. I just love how he gets it. He's just brilliant.
He's just, oh my God, like, I love him so much because, like, with all due respect, and I'm like, yes, okay, I know it's gonna be good. Right after he says that, it's always like, boom. He's just such a sweetheart. Ron Placone has, been my dearest friend for, in indie media for years. We do our monthly show together. I always love his shows, and so I'm a big fan of him. But there are definitely some good people and some good shows out there for sure.
Yeah, Ron's everybody's friend. I love Ron, and again, I sponsor Ron's show. He does a little read on behalf of Indie Left before every show, and talks about the Discord, which is really cool as well. He says they're dancing at the Discord. I love it when he says that. He cracks me up. And a lot of these shows have even popped out up since pandemic. People realize that it doesn't take a ton to do these shows to get started. At least it takes a ton to plan it, to do it right, and to do your research and make sure that you're not just spewing in front of the camera. But I think a lot of people, they get started and they just start talking in front of the camera like, I want my stuff to sound a little better, and they start kind of dipping into it deeper and deeper and deeper. And a few months later, a few episodes later, you've got something that's really something to see. And again, I look at what Sabby Sabs has done. Even I look at what there's so many case study QB and what they're building. I love what those guys are doing, and your friend Alex Rubenstein. Look at what Alex is doing. I love it. You know, Alex is making a career now by just doing Substack and Rockfin. And the one thing that I'm trying to get on Rockfin about is their videos don't automate out anywhere. So I'm not able to grab the Rockfin streams. I'm only able to, at this point, grab the Odyssey and the YouTube streams. And if I want to add a Rockfin stream, I actually have to manually paste it in myself with its own screenshot and everything. It's kind of a pain. I like to do it sometimes because I think it's important to amplify the platform, but it is a little bit more of a cumbersome type of deal. So that's something you can work on your tech a little bit.
Out of curiosity, has there ever been a show that said, I don't want you? Like,
no,
me?
That's really funny that you say that, because I've definitely thought that a couple of times there would be someone that says, you know what, I don't really think this is representative of what I want people to be seeing. Nobody's ever done that. Everybody has either just completely ignored it, or they've been super supportive and appreciative, and they amplify and they retweet and they share and they shout me out on their live streams, and they make me a moderator on their channel, or they ask me about Discord, or God, it's just been so much fun and so rewarding in so many ways to meet everybody and to support everybody and to help everybody and to work with everybody. I can't gush enough about it. And I sound like such a goober, but it's genuine. It's real. I truly do enjoy this. And this is why I do it all day, every day. And I do have a full-time job. I do this around work.
That's what amazes me. You're just a machine, and you have kids and a wife and a family. Yes. And you're like, oh, and by the way, I don't want anyone to know who I am because I don't want any kind of notoriety for this. I don't take any donations because that's not why I do this. And I'm just like, I'm blown away by how humble you are, that you are really focusing on the content.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And it's not just about the content, it's about the people behind the content. It's about you. It's about Robert Durden. It's about these people and what drove you to get on a camera, to get past your fear and your anxiety of getting on camera and sharing something that you thought was so important with the world that they needed to hear it. I give such credit and respect to that. How can you not want to amplify that and support that and cheer that on? I'm all about it.
That's awesome. What is next? What is work? What is your hope?
Well, my hope is that we can continue to grow this. One of the ways I could potentially see this growing and expanding would be to an OTT network getting on a Roku type of platform or on smart TVs, so that there would be an Indie Left app and people would be able to watch the content that's shared in the top 5 every week and programmed into, say, a YouTube playlist. Or I'll work with some tech people and see if we can make that happen. Again, looking at the shift potentially away from the word left to more of independent news. I think that might be something that you start seeing out of Indie Left, continuing to grow and expand the Discord, looking for channel managers to help with specific growth on each platform, optimizing the posts and making sure that we're not flooding people's news feeds in certain times of the day, but rather spreading the content out throughout the day so that people get a much more steady diet rather than what they're getting right now, which sometimes can be 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 posts in a row, and then they won't see much for a while. Allowing the automation and the bots to continue to work and to continue to keep an eye on who's continuing to carry the message, and if somebody isn't carrying the message, to look to move their stuff further downward in the newsletter or out. People who are still focused on Trump, to be honest, I'm not really interested in amplifying their content at this point. For example,
Why don't you give yours your the website, the Discord, or everything.
There's a ton of places. There's a ton of places to find me. Basically, you can find me anywhere. The easiest place to find me, I have a site called Linktree, where you can find all the different links to every platform I have on independentleft.media. The main news site that I started initially is independentleft.news. That's updated twice a day. You can sign up for an email to be notified when there's a new edition published. Then you can sign up for the Substack at leftist.today. I also manually publish that myself and put it together after I have rearranged and organized the top 5 for each edition. I try to put that out twice a day as well. Once in a while, I skip an edition here and there. And then you can follow me on all the social media platforms at INDLeftNews, including youtube.com/INDLeftNews. And we didn't even really get to talk about that 5 weeks ago. I started doing my own midnight Saturday night news show with my friend Reef. And we cover about a half dozen stories that I didn't see covered anywhere else. And we called the show "How Did We Miss That?" And we have some fun. We cut loose. We talk about some stories. We spend about an hour and a half. And then I cut those clips up for the week, and I can share some of those as well. And again, amplify some of the stories, some of the outlets that are included, but don't necessarily get as much play on YouTube.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea for a show. And I'll tell you after we got there, you don't use it. They're like, wait, I heard nothing about that. That's incredibly important. So we're talking about tomorrow night on Fred Hamilton.
That's great.
But anyway, so freaking much for Joy and Indy. You are amazing. You are the future. You are doing such a service for all of us. Thank you for being so supportive of me, my show, comrades. So many to about.
Oh, you're cutting off. I'm getting such digital interference. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said thank you so much for all you do and all of your support. You are incredible, and you are providing such a service to us as streamers and to viewers as well.
Oh, thank you again. I do this for everybody, and I enjoy what you're doing, and keep making great content, and I'm going to keep sharing it. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow is the weekly Wednesday show with Fred Hampton Leftist. So I'll be on the panel as usual. Thursday is this week's news. And I have 2 guests upcoming that are pretty amazing, but I haven't announced them yet. As far as the book signing and comedy show, there are literally a handful of tickets left. So it'll be a book signing of me and Pat Cody of our Shitlib parody book, which you can get at savageandpat.com. And it's going to be comedy by me, which is kind of scary. And Jimmy Dore and Steph and Rick Overton and people that are like actual comedians.
Wait, what? Wait. When is this? Oh my God, when?
It's in LA, and it is October 24th.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's gonna be bananas. So my comedy, I already wrote. I shared it with a friend. They laughed. I don't know if it was genuine or not, but they laughed, and that's all that matters to me. So, but it's a one-time deal. It's a bucket list thing. I'm doing it. It's like 5 minutes, and then I'm done, and it's never again.
Oh, that is amazing. I'm so excited for you. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It's surreal. I don't like. I'm going first because I'm sorry, I'm not going after like fucking Rick Overton and Jimmy Dore. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to have to follow them either.
So if you
100%.
guys want tickets, as I said, there are literally only a few left. I have the post tagged on my Twitter. It's pinned.
Is that at Flappers? Is that going to be at Flappers?
Yeah, it's at Flappers.
Excellent. Good
I've
location.
never been
Great
to
venue. I've
California.
never either, but that's like Jimmy's home court practically. So
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, yeah, this is amazing. This is like definitely a my cool first experience in California, that's for sure.
what an opportunity. That's fantastic. And I'm sure you'll knock it out. And hopefully someone will record it. I'd love to see that, and I'd share
Well,
it definitely on Indie Left if you wanted me to. If you wanted me to.
I want to record it, but I don't know if I want to share it because it depends if people actually laugh.
Oh God. Well, you tell me, and if you want me to share it, you know that you've got a platform to share that 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks again, Indy. Stick around so we can talk afterwards. And thank you all so much for watching. You guys are amazing. Like I said, weekly Wednesday, Fred Hampton Leftist show. Tomorrow, I'll be on the panel as usual. And Thursday is weekly news, 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all so much, and we will talk to you later.